America may sleep better at night if the president proved his brain's all right. So Nikki Haley wants to be extra cautious and make sure there's no senility in the Oval Office. Yeah, Nikki Haley doubled down this week on mandatory competency tests for politicians older than 75, which is pretty brave for someone who's past her prime.
Don Lemon would say.
Don Lemon. But she points to old Joe, who would be 82 on Inauguration Day if reelected, but he's still sharp as a tack, at least according to his embalmer. And his doctors gave him the all clear, but that might have been for the defibrillator. I had to say that 8 times in my head first. And Nikki also calls out California Senator Dianne Feinstein, who at 89 is a prime example of why we need mental competency tests. And maybe she should take one, assuming the smelling salts ever kick in. But Dems know brain-dead candidates are very popular with dead voters. And her brain hasn't worked since I had a rat tail mullet. Hell, Dianne wasn't that sharp in her 60s when she hired a Chinese spy to be her driver. But is this about transparency and the fact that Republicans and Democrats deserve to know whether the people they send to D.C. are at the top of their game?
This is about transparency. This is about the fact that Republicans and Democrats deserve to know whether the people they send to D.C. are at the top of their game. These competency tests are very simple. They're just about naming things that start with the same letter. It's about what month it is. It's about what day it is.
Quick, Kat, what month and day is it?
It's, today's Wednesday, and it's May 3rd.
Not bad. You're president.
I've been in like 4 time zones in the past 5 days. That was pretty good.
Yeah, very good. All right. But such tests don't thrill Biden's nurse doctor, Jill. By the way, Jill's a doctor in the same way Elvis was a black belt in karate. I'm glad we found the picture. A few weeks ago, she body slammed Nikki's proposal. At least she didn't call her a breakfast taco. But I wonder, would her husband ever take one of those?
Would your husband ever take one of those?
I mean, we haven't even discussed, we would never even discuss something like that.
Of course she'd never discuss it with him. He hasn't the slightest idea who she is. It would be like talking to a potato. A doctor potato. So what say you, Joe?
Hey, no, look. Look, that lady, Jill, doesn't know what she's talking about, all right? We never discussed that. Just ask my wife, Nikki Haley. What'd she say? I don't need one of those. But I'll take the same one that the other guy took. I don't care. Remember that one? The person, woman, man, camera, TV. Repeat that back. Person, radio, record player, photograph. My wife's a doctor. You know the thing. Done. Look. Put that in your pipe and stuff it down. And meet me behind the 5 and dime, Jack.
Haley, wouldn't it be great if publicly, because we know it's going to be Trump versus Joe, to have them both do competency tests on TV and then compare them?
That would be fun. I mean, I heard President Trump so many times talk about taking one of these tests. It was so funny to watch him talk about it. I mean, the guy's clearly competent beyond bounds, like knew what he's doing with it in command, unlike Joe Biden. But like, look, I never thought I would have agreeing with Bernie Sanders on my bingo card today. Bernie Sanders talked about letting the American people make that determination. And look, he's kind of right, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at Joe Biden and say, this guy's not competent. He shakes hands with air. He grew up next to Polish immigrants in the Puerto Rican community, where he took on a gang leader named Corn Pop after he was a professor, after he was a truck driver, and after he was arrested in the civil rights movement. The guy's not competent. Doesn't take a rocket scientist. And by the way, how do you enforce it? We're not going to amend the Constitution for this. They're voluntarily going to take the competency test and step aside if they fail. I don't think so.
Yeah. Harlan, would you pass a competency test?
I wouldn't, no. No. I didn't even pass my pap smear, so let's get that straight.
There's tampons in the men's bathroom.
There is?
Yeah.
God, that's what those were. I smoked one. But, you know, this guy, forget a competency test. Just this competency is a big word. You know how in every kid's coloring book, there's that one page where you connect the dots and it makes like a happy narwhal coming out of the ice? I'd like to see Joe connect the dots. I mean, this is the kind of guy you could give him a Rubik's Cube that's one color and he won't be able to solve it. All right, I want to take that guy to Cracker Barrel and have him do the little triangle peg thing. And if he wins, he can be the president of omelets. How about that?
He'd peel the one color Rubik's Cube off, too. He'd still try to cheat.
Yeah.
Like, Mr. President's the same color.
Yeah.
What do you
this
think?
is a guy that thinks 7-Eleven stores should be called 18. Too soon?
No, he actually liked 7-Elevens because there were Indian people there, remember? Yeah, remember? Yeah, why do all the Indian people work at 7-Eleven? Wasn't that him?
It was him.
It was.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
It also was him, was like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yes.
Apparently this weekend we're all boys in the White House. So he's had a real fun, stellar 80th week this week. So listen, I think it's funny his wife is so defensive over it. Because, because then we'd find out she's pulling the strings. I think it should be case by case because just like we don't have to be ageist, Greg. Let's
True.
just take the 80s out. There's enough of us in this room who know a couple people in their 20s. One's real sharp, the other one not so much. And if you put that dumbass in any job, they'll ruin it.
Yeah.
It's like you raise them both the same. One ends up doing well, and the other one works at McDonald's. It's the same thing with 80-year-olds. You take an 80-year-old that's got his stuff together, they can do great things. Like President Trump has his stuff together.
Yeah.
Joe Biden does not. But then again, he doesn't have to. Let's be honest. He's our president, too. And if he wants to live in make-believe land, it's his right. It's America. So if he wants to battle corn pop for his 8 moms of different racial backgrounds, good for him. Live in fantasy world. So you don't have to remember
Yes. That's true. You just make up new stuff, Kat.
as he goes.
Kat, would you support this test for people younger than 75?
No, I feel like we already know, like everyone said, that he's not competent, and I would never agree to take this test. Well, I disagreed with Bernie when he said, how many 30-year-olds could travel to Poland, get on the train, go 9 more hours, go to Ukraine, meet with President Zelensky? Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Right.
Especially the way he does it. It's not like he gets there and he's like, where do I go to buy my ticket? Like,
That's true.
like, it's the easy, in so many ways, like, being the president is obviously very, very hard, but it's also the easiest difficulty setting in terms of having to do daily life tasks, which is where I struggle the most, honestly.
Right.
You have other people do that for you. My cat could do that.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know?
It's like he never
Actually,
has
not. He has
to-
a heart problem. He can't fly. But if he didn't,
Yes. But he could never, he never has to look at a train schedule.
no, he's not be like, oh, should I use my points for this, or should I,
Right.
use my Yeah. Where do I go to get the tickets? And okay, yeah. He doesn't have to figure anything out. He wakes up every morning. He has no idea what he's doing that day. He just knows he's got to wait for people to tell him what he's doing that day. I would love that life.
That is a great life, really. It's just like being a dog.
Not to mention, everybody he works with is old. No one's going to sign up for that.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
entire poster board right there was like a combined age of 900.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like, no, we get to die in this job. Look.
All right, we got to move on. Up next, a drag diva endorses joining the armed forces.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.